I think this is today is February 12th, 2019, and it has been over 4 years. When Constance Berry, my wife, with whom I called my Connie, she had left for the heaven, and it was definitely was a medical negligence. It was really a case where I was deprived, by her doctor Bruce Brockstein and his team, and also most importantly her real brother Michael Fuller. Michael Fuller is the real brother, biological brother of Constance Berry, and he was sitting in Sanibel, Florida, and he did not even have the decency. Basically, it happened between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock when I left the hospital, under the pretend of with a private nurse, Florida Harris. She told me, Pradeep, if you want to go home and rest for a few hours, you could go home and I will be here. So I said no. So, but then she insisted, and then I was home at 11 o'clock. I called her on Florida Harris over her cell phone. And she told me, Pradeep, Connie is looking very good, she's opening her eyes, and I'm very impressed, and if you want to come later, you can come later because I'm going to be here in any case, and her tubes had to be taken out on the March 2nd, because she had had a cardiac arrest, by the error of this bastard, Evanston Hospital. So now it was a last chance, because I wanted to go and have a discussion, that Connie should be given a full treatment for under palliative care. Either she should come home and I should do the trigonometry, where basically they take out the tubes, on March 2nd, and they put a small hole in her throat, and then she's on the feeding tube, and then over there, then she will be, and that's a temporary, and then she will have to be shifted, to the Holy Family Hospital in Mount Prospect, and this was the way I was going through. And I was still had to make a decision whether I really want to go through that to give any pain to her or not, So my decision would have been different, I don't know what I would have discussion, because I was going through discussion and I had discussed, with Dr. Janardhan Kendekar. And he told me, Pradeep, it was my body. I wouldn't let this happen, So then I also talked to a Mayo Clinic, Dr. Katrina Ko. So she also told me, Pradeep, it is up to you. But I think, why are you going to give so much stress to yourself and to Connie? Because, the chances are, even if you do the Treco, she may not live very long, You may be extending her life, but do you want her to suffer and have her on the feeding tube? So I don't know. I think perhaps my decision would have been that when the time comes to put a hole, I would have said no, don't put on any hole. Maybe God will help us, and maybe God will give me the grant, But I was very upset, I was very upset, and there was not even a single body from my family, from India, and also, from anybody, from Michael Fuller family. And I had to make a decision. So basically, I made the decision, nothing, but that decision, it did not even allow me. So what happened, on the 27th February around 11 o'clock, after that I went to Northbrook to sign certain papers, in Mary Lynch, And then when I was leaving that Mary Lynch, I got some a negative feeling, I hope I have not done a bad karmas, And my intuition was very right, because when I was driving the car, it was a new car, which Connie and myself we had bought in 2012, and it only had 2,000 miles, because we never used to drive the car, because Connie was sick, for 2.5 years, incapacitated, and then we had Camry. So as a result of the mileage was low, so I was driving that car. So then the telephone rang on the Bluetooth. So I answered the telephone, and they told me, Mr. Berry, where where are you? I said, I'm coming. So I said, what happened? So they told me that, Mr. Berry, you must come immediately. So I got scared, so I went there, and then over there, what I saw that immediately after that, Dr. Brockstein and Dr. Dement, Catherine Dement, and Kathy and other 10 people came, and they told me that, Mr. Berry, you don't have any power whatsoever, So I said, why? They said, well, we have to respect the feeling of your wife, and we are not going to let it go, So they were very rude to me, and I really gave them a hell. I said, you Dr. Bastard, you basically betrayed me. You really, you are a swine, So then this Dr. Keith, the Dr. Catherine Dement, So I said, Dement, your name looks like a bitch, You are like a witch, Basically, I think you should be go to jail. So I said, I will tell you, I will take a full action against you if Connie dies, So they did not care. So I even asked her, give me your card number. So then she even gave me the card number because I did not know. So then she told me, Mr. Berry, we have called her brother on the FaceTime, and her brother told us that he is going to have a surgery and he cannot come, and he loves her. That's all they told me. This is under the oath they told me, and after that I thought maybe nothing. So then they came and they took out her tubes at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. On 27th February, and by that time, I was holding my urine, because I did not want to leave the hospital at all. So then I left. I was sitting there, 24/7, So then over there, then around I was shouting, and I have videotapes which anybody can see that I was making a video, and I did not care, who has, So I was making a video, and I was talking to some people, and the phone was ringing, every single thing. Anybody can see that there was a medical negligence, So then finally, what happened, around 7 o'clock, with my persistence, the one girl, Kathy, came, and I said, Kathy, where are you? So I got a little relief, So she told me, Mr. Berry, I was here. So then they said lot of things, that we don't have any room, we have no room, So then finally I got the message, that basically she may not survive tonight, So then Kathy was basically was nothing. So she made me sign some certain papers, and then I saw that basically around 9 o'clock, Connie was going, and immediately she told me, Mr. Berry, I think your wife is dying, So then immediately I called my brother Arun Berry in Delhi, and then then by the time I was talking to him, so this Kathy took the phone from me, and she told me, Mr. Berry, don't talk to your brother. I will give him the message. So she told my brother Arun Berry that Connie has died. But whereas, I immediately, with the kind grace of God, thinking about Savitri and Satyam, I basically requested two Indian nurses, they came, and I told them, please, save my wife, please save my wife. So they saw that it's passionate. So one nurse Vargish. So she put tubes, on her oxygen, and the other one, she put a morphine injection. So Connie was struggling, and I was talking to Connie, don't worry, Jai Mata Di, Connie, say Jai Mata Di, my brother and everybody. So I have all the YouTube, I have every single thing loaded, in my this thing. So then around 11 o'clock, one of my friends, Sanjay Mehrotra, he came, and he told me, Pradeep, your Bhai Sahab has told me that Pradeep ji alone and Connie has died, So I said, no, Connie is alive, So then he sat down, and he said, I think this is a question of malpractice, and I will definitely not do. So he made lot of telephone. So around 12:15 he left, and he told me, Pradeep ji, I am going to home, and I want to bring Preena, that was his wife. She came from India on the same day. So I said, there is no need for you. So he said, no, Preena wants to come. So then he left, and then around 12:55, I went to bathroom to clear my urination, So while over there, I talked to Arun over the phone, because I have this Raja phone. So then he answered the phone, and he was crying, and he told me, what a shame to us, that no, not even a single person come. So then his food maker, Sheila told me, so she said, Chacha ji, don't worry about it, auntie ji will be safe, because nothing will happen, because my daughter is doing the prayers, from Shiva, So then I thought maybe Savitri and Satyam, basically I got it. So, but when I came to the room, and Sanjay was standing next to the vital, and watching the vital, and Prina told me, Pradeep ji, come, Connie is going, Connie is going. And that time I saw the vitals were going down, and I have the pictures, and at that time, so Connie, Prina was reciting the last chapter of Gita. So I immediately, when I saw that Connie was dying, I cried, and this Varghese told me, Mr. Berry, I don't want to do anything because her blood pressure will low, so let her die peacefully. So they did not do any damn thing, So then I started saying, Om Bhur Bhuva Swata Sarvitor Vareniyam Bhargo Deva Siddhi Maidhyena Prachodya. Om Bhur Bhuva Swata Sarvitor Vareniyam Bhargo Deva Siddhi Maidhyena Prachodya. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tasarvitur Vareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodaya. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tasarvitur Vareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodaya. That was the end, and Connie left, and I saw her last soul breathing, and she was gone. Now Connie's conscious body was sitting there, and after 10 minutes, the doctor came, the medical doctor. He was from the Philippines, So he told me, Mr. Berry, I don't want you to take any photographs, please. So I said, well, no, I want to. So he said, well, you can take it, but don't take me in the picture, But at that time, I think I did not give a damn. So I took pictures, and I have those pictures with me, basically where he is examining the dead body of Connie. And later on, they came and they told me, Mr. Berry, I think we have to wash her body. So then everybody went there. So Florida Harris was there, and Preena was there, and Sanjay there. So they all left the room, and I stayed there, and I closed my eyes, and I saw Constance Berry's body was being washed, with aloe vera cleansing foam. So I closed my eyes, and that was a terrible thing for me as a husband to see that, So then after that, they covered her body, and I was praying and every single thing. So I was crying and every single thing. So then around 5:30, they told me, Mr. Berry, do you want to see when the body is taken? I said, no, I don't want to, because I had seen that before. My cousin, Madhu Sagar, when she died, I saw that body, how they take it in the blue bag. So it was a scary thing. So I left. So I saw them coming to take the body of Connie. So I left the hospital around 6 o'clock, 6:30, 6 o'clock. And then Florida Harris, I was very nervous. So Sanjay told me, Bhai Sahab, you can stay with us, So I got relieved. So then Florida told me, Pradeep, if you give me the money, I will stay with you. So then she settled with me that she will charge me $14 an hour to stay in my house, in my guest room, So then Florida and myself, we came. Florida parked her red car outside the parking lot, and I went to the garage. So then after that, I made a cup of tea, and I called my brother, and my brother told me that, Pradeep, why don't you go to sleep, So I went to sleep. So I put up an alarm at 10:30. So then at that time, I was sitting in the Connie's room, and I was trying to figure it out, where the cremation is. So around that time, Michael Fuller called, and he said, Pradeep, where is Connie? So I told him, I said, my Connie has died. So then he told me, well, Pradeep, I cannot come. And then he asked me, Pradeep, do you know anything about her finances? I said, no. So he said, you better know, otherwise the attorney will come. And so that was basically was going on in this country, with... Hello? 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 So then his wife Suzanne Fuller told me, Pradeep, you have been a very good husband, and I think at least she was in a peace of mind, So then she asked me, she said, Pradeep, do you want me to inform the children? So I said, it is up to you. They are not children, they are grandchildren, they are 50 years old, 47 years old, like that. So she said, okay, I will think about it. And then Mike asked me, he said, Pradeep, do you know anything about her finances? I said, no, Mike, I don't know. So he said, well, you better know. because you have been married to for 44 years. I said, Mike, I don't know. So then he asked me, he said, well, you better hire an attorney, otherwise her money will go into the probate. I said, Mike, don't worry, but I can tell you, so that Connie has left some money for your children. She said, that will be good. So this was exactly under the oath, it was happening. And then, so they never came. So then after 2 days, on Tuesday, because the body cannot be burnt, so her cremation was taken place in Skokie at 11:30 on March 3rd. And then her ashes was put into the plot on March 4th, 2015, and Skokie Memorial Park. And I did the best of the things, her urn, prayers, and I made a full video about that, and since then I wrote a book, My Connie, and second book I have written is called Untold Secret, My Connie, My First and Last Love with Medical Negligence, and all these books are on the YouTube, and they are on Amazon. And if you people, put the name Pradeep Berry on Google and on YouTube, you will see many interviews, which basically happened in Atlanta. So you will see this thing. So I am not trying to be very thing. And Connie left a lot of charity, for 11 charities, including a University of Michigan, Carleton College, American Cancer Society, St. Jude's Hospital, Blind School, and the Midwest Palliative Care, and Children Memorial Hospital, then Red Cross Society, then Dakota thing. So 11 charities she left money, and for things that was a great Connie. So then her brother also got lot of money for the 4 children. What a shame to those bastards. Basically Mike and Sue and their children. Christopher, Corey, Cara, and Carolyn, and their husbands, and their children. None of them. They came 19 people, and shame to them, and they go to church. Mike, if you are hearing, you should be ashamed to death, and so you should go and jump in the rail, and all your children, basically, I don't know whether I blame them or not, but they only do anything what Sue tells you. So, basically, I know every single thing about what you did to Laura Stroka. You are a fucking, very sad thing, God bless you. God bless, and I think I'm going to close this chapter now. And so people, enjoy your this thing. Thank you.